One day, a young man approached Buddha, seeking his teachings in simple terms that he could comprehend. Buddha inquired, "Do you have a son?" The young man affirmed, "Yes, I do have a son." Buddha continued, "Do you have a brother?" The young man replied, "Yes, I have a brother." Buddha repeated, "Do you have a son?" Once again, the young man replied, "Yes, I have a son." Buddha continued, "Do you have a son?" The young man once more confirmed, "Yes, I have a son." The wise Buddha then asked the man, "How would you feel if your son were to pass away? How profound would your sorrow be?" The young man, with a heavy heart, responded, "Buddha, I would not only be deeply saddened, but I would also find it unbearable to bear the news of my son's demise. It would feel as though my entire world had crumbled, and I am uncertain of how I would continue to live without him." Buddha inquired further, "How would you feel if your brother's son were to pass away?" The young man acknowledged, "I would be very sorrowful, although not as intensely as I would be if my own son were to pass." Buddha persisted, "How would you feel if your neighbor's son were to pass away?" The young man replied, "Lord Buddha, I would be saddened, even if my neighbor's son were to pass, though not as deeply as if my brother's son were to pass." Once more, Buddha asked, "How would you feel if your neighbor's son were to pass away?" The young man responded, "I would not be sorrowful at all, for I do not even know him." Buddha inquired once more, "How would you feel if your neighbor's son were to pass away?" The young man turned the question around and asked, "Lord Buddha, how would you feel if your neighbor's son were to pass away?" Buddha smiled and replied, "Very well." Buddha proceeded to ask, "When you take your son to the sea, would he not play with the sand on the shore?" The man confirmed, "Yes, Buddha, he would play with the sand." Buddha inquired further, "When the sea's waves crash and destroy the sandcastle your son has built, will your son cry?" The man admitted, "Yes, Buddha, he will indeed cry." Buddha continued, "Will you also cry with him?" The man replied, "No, I will not cry." Buddha asked, "Why won't you cry?" The man explained, "Buddha, the child cries because he believes that the sandcastle is beautiful and will last forever. He becomes attached to it. His emotions are tied to that sandcastle. Even though I am aware that the sandcastle is impermanent and will eventually be washed away by the waves, I do not feel sorrow when it does." The great Buddha smiled and said, "Now you understand, don't you? If you do not seek to comprehend the truth of this universe, you will wander aimlessly in this endless world, much like the child who witnesses the sandcastle being destroyed and weeps." If we reflect on our lives, what was the profound lesson Buddha aimed to impart? The lesson is non-attachment, that is, not forming strong attachments to anyone or anything. Nothing in this world is permanent, and if we become deeply attached to something or someone, we will experience sorrow when they depart. This was the secret that Buddha had uncovered. The path to inner peace lies in non-attachment, because everything in this world is an illusion. The choices we make within this illusion depend solely on our perspective, shaping the way we experience our lives.